The greatest power you possess is your ability to choose. Join Lowe's Moore as he reveals how you can begin to maximize that power by exploring yourself on the deepest levels and committing to making lasting and positive changes. Get ready to achieve breakthroughs that will lead to accelerated growth and transformation because you are now tuned in to The Blueprint.
Why they actions contradict the lamb. I'm fellowshipping when I'm with the fam. That's more relations, that's forming a phonic.
Good evening, and welcome back to the Blueprint Podcast. Man, I am excited to be back to you again for another Sunday evening. And man, let me just get rolling here. Let me start out with dropping my pebble. This is my pebble. See my little ball right here? This is my pebble. I dropped my pebble in the pond. I'm expecting a ripple effect. And I'm excited to be back with you guys. Man, we had a wonderful guest last week. Kazzy Russell. We had a great conversation. Kazzy was funny, man. And, so I got so many calls, so many texts, because many of us, we're fans of the New York Knicks. We live in New York. We should be fans, right? But it's been a long time since we won a championship. So now we have to reminisce. And for many of us, we reminisce about the Knicks in 1970 and 1972. And so it was crazy because I always say that every single time that I go to speak to some young people at a school, career day, so forth and so on. I always tell elementary school kids, middle school kids, and high school kids, I always say this to them. I said, look, I said, look, check this out. I hope this happens in your day. When I was in the 6th grade, right, the New York Knicks won an NBA championship. Not just one, but two. So in 1970 and 1972, right, we won 2 championships, right? So I hope you see it in your lifetime, right? So that's the biggest key, is being able to see it in your lifetime, right? To see the Knicks win a championship, right? So we're being patient, right? And so having a conversation with Kazzy last week was just so powerful because Kazzy was a member of the great Knick teams, and he was one of my favorite. I loved all the Knicks players, but he was one of my favorites in regards to, he was come off the bench and instant offense. As soon as he came off the bench, it was like boom, boom, boom. I don't know if you heard the little video that they did on Kazzy last week, and when Walt Frazier was saying, Kazzy, you think you gonna pass, you're gonna pass the ball or rebound the ball? He said, man, they don't pay me to pass and rebound, they pay me to shoot. Right, so that's Kazzy. He used to come off the bench, man, with all that energy and all that excitement, and he'd come in that game, man, he'd be ready to play. But man, just thinking about those guys, Willis Reed, and he was telling the story about Willis Reed and him being in the locker room when they was fixing Willis up for Game 7 at the Garden. They didn't know if Willis was gonna play or not. They was trying to get that hip ready, that knee ready, and he left out of the locker room and he came out before Willis, and everybody thought it was Willis coming out, and then they realized that he was a smaller version of Willis Reed, and it wasn't him. But I mean, that night was so electric. As a little kid, man, as a young man, watching the Knicks, man, that crowd going crazy, man, you was getting a buzz in your head, and then Kazzy comes walking out, and everybody go, whoa, and then Willis coming out and hearing the announcer, man, talking to Kazzy, man, brought back so many memories. I kept hearing, here comes Willis, here comes Willis. I mean, it was just a powerful just such an amazing time back then in terms of having a conversation with Kazi, man. Just such a great man, great character, great man of God. Just awesome. So, you know, I want to say thank you. And in regards to February, we did 29 days of the Love Challenge, right? And I got a call the other day, and somebody called me about, you know, the Love Challenge and how that those 29 days sparked something in them, right? And what happened was that our activists, random acts of kindness, right? Every day we're looking for a random act of kindness every single day, right? Because we believe that love is transformative, right? We believe that love can change the world. And so I've gotten so many texts, so many calls, but this one was very unique. He said, Lowe's, you know, and watching you, you know, during those 29 days, it sparked something inside of me, right? And man, I just get such a joy of trying to help people since, man, you activated something inside of me, you know, and I get so much joy in trying to help people and trying to motivate people and trying to give back to people. And he gave me an idea. I won't share it with you. It's coming soon, right? You know, because we want to continue this love challenge. We will continue this love challenge. And I got an announcement coming up real soon. Here's Joyce Meyer's book, The Love Revolution, right? If any of you are trying to activate yourself and activate love in your life, please check out Joyce Meyer's book, The Love Revolution. And so also I want to talk real quickly about, this is, you know, celebrating Women's Month. Right, as we celebrate Women's Month, it's a lot of things going on. I think there's a multiple sclerosis month, right, and then we got Women's Month, right, and so you know, we got Women's Month. But before I give you something on Women's Month, I want to talk about another part. All this is exciting. March is just exciting, right? But we want to talk about March Madness. Woo, man, we in March and the madness has already started. You know, the Final Four this year is in Phoenix for the men and in Cleveland for the women. I mean, just exciting to already yesterday. Well, I'm gonna talk about 2 days. Yesterday, you know, Cardoso from South Carolina women's team hit the last second shot to help South Carolina win to the championship. You had the you know, that was an agony, thrill of victory and the agony of defeat. You know, Tennessee thought they had it. Next thing you know, the shot goes up. They didn't have it, man. It was just exciting to watch the game yesterday. And then, you know, today, LSU and South Carolina, man, it was just as exciting. You know, got a little emotional there today, but man, we in March Madness, man. So check out this this commercial, right? I got a couple of commercials. You know, I don't own them or anything, but I got a couple of commercials. This is just to get you excited that March Madness is right around the corner. The bracketology, the setting up the brackets is about to come. Who's going to be selected in the 68 teams, 64 teams, whatever it is, man. I know as a young man playing for West Virginia University, man. We didn't, in my 4 years, I never got a chance to go to the NCAAs. That was always my dream to go to NCAAs, to win a NCAA championship, right? I didn't get to go. I ended up watching, right? I was close. 4 years in a row, we lost in our conference championship. But I mean, it's still so exciting. You just never know what's going to happen during March Madness. And even now, during all these different tournaments, you just don't know what has happened. Check out these commercials real quick. Get ready. March Madness is here. Maybe you can start planning to go to Phoenix or start planning to go to Cleveland, right? So check out this commercial.
to be forever a champion.
How about that? Absolute madness.
It's finally here.
Oh, down! Big finish! Hawkins for three, and Hawkins buries it!
Can they pull it off? The dream continues.
Trammell looking for the lead. The floater.
Got it!
And it's Aztec madness.
Saline on a run out, all the way to the basket. He laid it in! On the evil lead! Jackson in! Oh my goodness!
Oh, Houston and Bradley taking over. Caravan, we got another one at the buzzer. With 2 seconds, he's got to put it up.
Awesome. March Madness is here, man. Man, it just seemed like we just had March Madness. I mean, March came around so fast, but I am excited that it's back, right? And, I'm looking forward to, I'm even enjoying these conference championships right now, the conference playoffs and championships. I'm enjoying them. And then, man, we're going to transition right into March Madness. Man, I love it. And so, as we celebrate, Women's History Month, right? My person for Women's History Month, I had someone last week, and I want to talk about Caitlin Clark, right? Now, for anybody who's been a player, right? I think we all, right? We've all dreamed that we could play a certain way. We always, because I remember just yesterday I was at a funeral for one of my friend's brothers, and I was just thinking about, like, as a little kid, how I wanted to win. I wanted to be successful. I wanted to be great, and to actually, we were talking about, like, how I grew up around seeing so many legends. I was just mentioning Cassie Russell and Willis Reed and Earl Pearl Monroe and all those great players, but they were great college players. And one that comes to mind is Pistol Pete Maravich, right? I mean, seeing Pistol Pete play a little bit in college, and then seeing him come over to the NBA. We were talking about Breanna Stewart, the most decorated. We were arguing with my son about the most decorated player ever in college basketball, both male and female. And my son was saying that Breanna Stewart was the most decorated because she won 4 NCAA championships. I say Lou Alcindor, better known as Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, is the most decorated. He won 3, right? He won 3 NCAA championships, not 4 but 3. But he couldn't play as a freshman. So yeah, so you got what happened in the past, man, and the rules of the past, and then the rules of what's happening currently, man. But it's all great. I mean, I think when I was, I got to give it to Caitlin Clark, right? I've been a dude, right? I've been the dog in the house, right? I've been the best player on the floor, and a lot of times people haven't been that best player. Where every single night, man, scouting reports are all around you, and trying to keep you from doing your thing, right? And like today, man, she had 4 points. 4 points in the first half, right, and 30 points in the second half, right, and they end up winning the game. I mean, just to go out there among sold-out crowds and just perform at your very best all the time, with you being the target, right? Everybody's targeting you, right? And then you just step up and just do your thing. Everybody want to be that person, man. Everybody want to be able to play at their best and be their best. So Caitlin Clark, man, has done some things like breaking the women's all-time, right? The women's all-time scoring record for college, and the all-time for both men and women, right? I want to show you these two quick videos of her. She is my celebrating Women's Month is Caitlin Clark. Yeah, I think we got one more.
Growing up in Cedar Rapids. Now Caitlin at the line. For the record. She ties it with that one. This for college basketball history. She does it with a foul shot. Caitlin Clark becomes the all-time leading scorer in major college basketball history. Passing Pistol Pete Maravich just with Caitlin Clark.
Caitlin, a history-making shot from the free throw line there. Is that going through your mind at all?
Not really, but then when they announce it and everybody screams, that's when I knew. But pretty cool. A good half for us. I think we can do a little better job on defense and clean it up a little bit. But proud of our girls. We're fighting, and they're a really good team. They're going to give us everything they got.
They certainly have done that. They made you earn everything on offense. What do you need to do well in the second half?
I think, keep switching up our defenses. I think that's causing them a little bit of problems. I think taking care of the ball, had a couple turnovers we didn't really need. Knowing when to slow down and run our offense, but also knowing when to push. So I think balancing those two things and then just rebounding and go.
There's so much going on surrounding this game. What will your message be to the team at the half about closing this thing out?
I think every possession matters. That's always what we say at halftime. It comes down to every single possession. So we got to take care of the ball, play smart basketball, but just have fun.
Thanks, Caitlin. Yeah.
Caitlin Clark, always talking about team.
Yeah. I mean, congratulations to Caitlin Clark. The Blueprint Podcast celebrating Women's History Month, Caitlin Clark. I mean, and I seen her right there at the bottom. NCAA, it says, look up Pearl Moore, AIAW player with 4,000 points. Yeah, we can look up her, right? We can look up her, but we talking about for many of us that played in the NCAA. I mean, if I broke that record, I'm not looking at the AIAW because I played in the NCAA. I mean, I'm not downplaying the accomplishment of 4,000 points. 4,000 points anywhere is amazing, right? Especially when you only got 30 games a year. Right, that's my opinion. Amazing job, but this, NCAA, we're just celebrating Caitlin Clark, right? Everybody wants to be great, right? Not everybody can be great, and it takes a lot of work, hard work, and so I want to say congratulations, man. This is powerful, right? So let me get moving. I got to get rolling here, real quick. Let me jump into my book of the week. Right, I'm going to jump into my book of the week. Yeah, book of the week, Beyond Basketball, the national bestseller, Coach K, Mike Krzyzewski. Man, this is a book. I mean, if you're in the coaching world, right, who did it better? There's a lot of great coaches out there, right? Everybody got great philosophy and stuff like that. Coach K has been at the top for many, many years. I'm sure he has a lot of wonderful things to say. I've read a number of his things, particularly how those coaching situation, how coaching translates into real life, right? That's why I enjoy about a lot of college coaches, right? Because they're not just teaching basketball, they're teaching about life, right? And so teaching strategies and disciplines and structure. Right, so if you get a chance, get this book here on Coach K. It's going to be a powerful read. I love reading people. One of my favorites is Don Chaney, right? The great Don Chaney, and Bobby Knight. I love reading all their stuff, man, and I love the amazing things they did. And one of my all-time favorites is John Wooden. So, yeah, awesome, right? So make sure you get that book. And then my word of the week is affirmation. You've been hearing me talk about affirmation for years now. We've been just going on like our third or fourth year in the podcast. Affirmation. Every week you get an affirmation. Affirmations motivate, inspire, and encourage us to take action and to realize our goals. That's my word of the week, right? Every day, right? You should either start out with a scripture or start out with a quote or start out with an affirmation to start your day. Just wake up, have it ready to go. This is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to say to myself today to get the ball rolling early in the morning. So And then here's my affirmation. This is my Hill Hopper and Pierce Hopper moment, affirmation moment. It says, by John Wooden, talent is God-given. Be humble. Fame is man-given. Be grateful. Conceit is self-given. Be careful. That's my affirmation of the week. And here's my movie, my music and movie, right? And I'm honoring, since this is Women's History Month, right? Celebration of Women's History Month. Man, what better way to do it than my movie being Dreamgirls? And then 3 of my favorite songs of that movie. I did leave one out, right? But we all know that what at least my favorite is, and I didn't put it in there. But Listen, right? Listen was one of my favorite in the movie. I don't know what's your favorite song in the movie. Love You I Do, right? And then When I First Saw You, I said, oh my, what a dream. Oh yeah. So, and then real quickly, that's my music and movie. And then real quickly, here's my person of the week, Dawn Stanley. Yeah, just powerful, man. And I got a little video on Dawn real quick. Let me show this video so you're going to enjoy this. And congratulations that they won the championship today.
Dawn Stanley gets them on their feet. The crowd favorite, Dawn Stanley.
Unbelievable! Coach Staley's swag is something that's going to always stick out there.
Dawn Stanley, some showtime.
Dawn is actually known to, flap those lips a little bit. Dawn is definitely not afraid to mix it up. She wasn't as a player, and she's not as a coach.
Hey, about time! The 5 that are on my team were just like family, and the other 5 is war.
There's just an intensity about her, a focus about her. She doesn't take crap from anybody.
I got to see firsthand how Dawn, in the gold medal game in 2004, made 2 of the biggest baskets to get us a gold medal.
The United States able to emerge and get to this gold medal game. Stanley again, Dawn Stanley, the veteran. And the United States has regained the lead. Stanley underneath, banks it in, and that will seal it.
A 23-game winning streak for the United States.
Which is always in my ear, giving me little pieces of advice. You know, this is what we need to do to win this game. This is what we need to do to win a gold medal. And I remember those things.
Going down the stretch, we were losing in the gold medal game. And Dawn coming to the bench, literally she grabbed the stool, slammed it down, and she starts like reaming each one of us out.
Get the ball in the gap.
Get that shit inside.
But it was all like from a standpoint of like, this is what we need to do to win. We don't come over here representing the United States of America and not go home with the gold. We will not be going home unless we have that gold.
She's probably all of 5'6", 5'7", maybe, but she has like the heart of like a 7-footer.
I just know the grit and the competitiveness that she has, and I just learned so much about how to prepare, how to go into an Olympics and pretty much take on the world. And now that she's the head coach, her mentality is exactly the same.
So we want to execute on both sides of the ball. So the stuff that we've gone over the first 2 days, we should see it all come together tonight. Compete.
And she just knows, she's been there. She understands. She knows what it's like, to be a player. And so that connection that you can have with a coach when they've actually experienced it, it makes things a lot easier.
So we're not even going to get to talking about her hairstyle. That's all the way different. And I would look back and I'm like, you have some crazy hairstyles. And she's like, yeah, just make sure you look okay because you're like on a big stage now.
She's seen different perspectives. She's seen both sides. She knows what's happening because she's been there before. She's been on the court. She's been going through all the things that we're going to go through.
Me right now versus prime Coach Staley. I'm betting on me all the way.
Yeah, my person of the week, Coach Dawn Stanley. Yes, awesome. I don't know if there's anything else I got to share, but let me get to this last interview and get my guests on here. We're going to have some fun tonight. So check this out.
Ex-basketball player, assistant coach. in the NBA, and you talked about career paths. You never know what career path you're going to take, but you do know one thing. If you don't get a good education, you don't keep your grades up, you don't work at it, you don't get a chance to have an opportunity to do any of these things. As a young individual, you need to realize when you're young that you need to have a good reading skills, writing skills, and just communication skills, because at some time in your life you're going to be doing something besides a sport, and lots of times when you get older, you see it now, but when you're younger, you don't see it. But that's why the young guys, I would tell you the main thing is to stick to the grades, work on your sport. If you play a sport, just work hard, but always remember, you got to have good grades. And the thing that I learned once I went to Michigan, I had a great education from there, and I could go anywhere. If I didn't even make it in basketball, I'd have a diploma that they can never take from me. They took my basketball, but they can't take my diploma from me. I'm an assistant coach. I've been coaching the NBA for 12 years. I really enjoy my job. I enjoy developing players. Winning is definitely one of the things you want to do, but you always can't win, but you have to be a good sport about it. But the thing about coaching is I never thought I'd get into coaching, but as much as I love basketball, that was an opportunity for me to stay in the game, and that's why I enjoy coaching so much.
V. Phil Hubbard, welcome to the Blueprint.
Hi, Mose. No problem, man. It's a pleasure to be with you tonight.
Yes, sir, man. Hey, real quick, what do you think about we celebrating, women's history? Anything pop out in your mind, man, when it comes to, especially, when you talk about like, Caitlin Clark and, Dawn Staley, man, just two great, just women just balling out, man.
The thing you would say about Caitlin Clark, I had a couple chances to see her in person because I go to the Maryland women's game because my boy Brad Seller's daughter, Cheyenne Sellers, plays for Maryland. They're all in the Big Ten, and you're right. She's a heck of a player. She gets it done. All the pressure on her, they're playing boxing one, all kind of different defenses. And she's definitely hard to stop. She's got a high level, a lot of range on that shot, and she got a good motor. And then Dawn, you got to be respectful for her coaching, playing, just taking her teams to unbelievable levels of basketball. I'm really proud to say that, that she's done such a great job at South Carolina, and just to see her keep advancing the game of women's basketball.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, man, I knew when seeing her as a player and seeing her play in the Olympics and stuff like that, and they said she was going to be coaching, I knew that she was going to be fiery. And then she went to Temple, right? Mm-hmm. And then she turned Temple's program around, man. I mean, them girls was balling out. And she wasn't taking no nonsense, right?
No, she's definitely the voice, that puts that, in their ear and let them know that, hey, do it this way, do it my way, or you won't be here. So that, you got to do a little bit of both. But I'm sure she's grown over the years about coaching too, because, the players change each year. And I think she's gotten better with the communication and the skills too to keep your players, and it's tough because, every year they're in the top 5, top 1 in the country. So people are trying to knock them off.
Yeah. And what's crazy is that she's lost some good players.
Yeah.
I mean, she's lost some McDonald's players, and yet, the results is still basically the same. I mean, she lost 5 players last year, right? She lost you lost the whole starting 5. Right, and you undefeated.
And she went back out, like I said, she replenishes the thing and brought these other players in, and they doing the same thing. They're doing the system. The system's there, everything's there. She just got to get the right players, and she just keeps getting the top players, and she also developing players too on her bench.
Yeah, and I was telling everybody that last week I had the great Cassie Russell on, right?
The Michigan man.
Michigan man.
Yeah.
I think my wife had a picture up there that was on the television. They were showing all the guys on there, and I think they had you and Cassie on there as well. If we could show that picture again, let me see that picture one more time. All right. Yeah, so we see Cassie there, right? Rudy. I mean, you got Rudy Tomjanovich, and you got Phil Hubbard, Glenn Rice. Oh my God! Ooh man, yeah. And then so you Tom Donovich, Cazzie Russell. Right now is the only 3 retired jerseys.
No, we got Glenn Rice is retired.
Glenn Rice. Oh, you
And
got to have Glenn Rice.
Yeah, you got Glenn Rice. Glenn Rice is retired, definitely.
Yeah,
we
you
have
got to have
4
Glenn Rice.
and 5 and Button and Button's double. So you got those 5, the 5 guys that their jerseys are retired in the program. I'm very proud to be one of the 5.
yeah. You know what's crazy is West Virginia, right? I guess is what you've done in college that they retire your jersey, but I think to get your jersey retired in West Virginia, man, you had to be an NBA Hall of Famer.
Wow. Well, I'm glad. Look, it took a long time to get Michigan to retire from Jersey, and I got to give this to Tommy Amaker. He was the coach there, and Tommy pushed, to bring that tradition back there, get some jerseys retired, get the kids closer to the game. He really pushed for us. If it wasn't for Tommy, I don't know if we'd have some retired jerseys. We'd still be waiting on to get some too. but I'm really proud that Tommy took charge of that and got that done.
Well, yeah, it's crazy because I think you did a speech. You and Tom Vandonovich did a speech for the team one time. And who was the coach then when you came in to do this?
Beeline.
Coach
Beeline.
Yeah. So now Beeline was the one reason that I hadn't been back to West Virginia in some years.
Right.
And I got a call from Coach Beeline saying they were having the 100th game between West Virginia and Pittsburgh, the rivalry game, right? And then he started bringing all the alumni back.
Yep.
Right. And so I'm, Beeline's awesome, man. He
is awesome. He kept that tradition at Michigan when he got there too. Having a reunion, trying to get everybody to come back. You're still a part of the program. You still want them to win, but you get a little distant when you move away. You get a little older because you're not there. But if you don't live in Michigan, but he pushed for the players to come back and celebrate your years that you were there. And him and Tommy. So I really appreciate that too. That he was definitely guy out front trying to get that done.
Yeah, and then after Beeline, Coach Huggins came in. Bobby Huggins came in.
I know Bobby real well.
Yeah, and Bobby when I was a freshman, Bobby was a senior. So I played with Bobby 1 year, and so I've known him over the years, and so he kept the tradition alive.
Yeah.
Right, bringing all the players back and having the reunions and doing all those different things too as well, and so when you're talking about like congratulations,
yes,
you guys just won high school championship, state championship, name all the championships, man, this year.
So I actually help out coach at the school, Paul VI here in Virginia, and we actually play in the Catholic League with DeMatha, Gonzaga, St. John, one of the toughest high school leagues in America, we say. And we won that championship this year. Last year we lost at the buzzer, but this year we won that Catholic League championship. That was Monday, and then next Saturday we won the Virginia Independent State Championship. So, we had a great team at Paul VI. I'm just happy to be a part of it. Glenn Farello, Curtis Simon, all the coaches, best. They do a great job. But the one thing about our school, we got 5 Division I players going to college this year. 5.
Ooh, 5.
That's remarkable. And 2 of them are going to Duke. I'm going to say it. One's going to Connecticut. One's going to Rhode Island. And one going to Notre Dame. All seniors. So, they've been an amazing group of guys.
No, you got some ballers, man.
We have some ballers. Yeah, we got some ballers there. Ballers there.
And here's some pictures. I mean, with the team and stuff like that, man. All you guys.
Yeah, it's been very, very, very rewarding to be a part of that program.
Yeah, man. Awesome, man. And the thing is, man, you having to experience something.
Yes.
And then have to give it back, right? And do you find that your accomplishments and then coming to support or to help them out, that they've been respectful and appreciate your because you're volunteering.
Yeah.
They show a lot of respect and appreciation.
Yes, they do. I mean, I think the big thing is a lot of them don't really know me at first, because think about it, they don't know my history, of what I'm bringing to the table. Then the coaches, they say, well, Google him or something. Then we talk about, but they know now. They know now. When I first got there, they didn't know, but they know now. But the thing is to be a part. I want it to be them, not me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's their time. I know what I did in the past, but it's about them. It's about getting them better. It's about them enjoying their lifestyle in basketball. How they're gonna go on and have the best career they can have, and help they get a chance to play at every level. College, pro, whatever they want to do. But again, they know a lot about me and they respect me. But again, at first, I don't think they understood. I have even coached 12 years in the NBA and played in the NBA. And they start seeing cards. It's like, oh, coach, you did that. You guarded Larry Bird. I said, yeah, I guarded Larry Bird. You guarded Michael Jordan. I attempted to guard Michael Jordan.
Yeah, it's interesting, man, to see, young people, today and particularly, and you coming back to support them and be helpful to them, and they see, here's this tall guy. Who's the tall guy? Who's the tall guy?
Like I said before, I didn't know how good the program really was. I thought I was just coming in to help out because at every level you want to coach. I've coached at every level now, and this is high school was the last level to get to, and then they said, well, why you want to coach high school? I said, well, I love to coach and I want to be a part of something just to keep me busy, but it's more than that. Once you get there, you wanted them guys to do well. You wanted the ups and downs they have, but you want them to make sure that they're understanding that we're going to help you get as far as you can with this basketball. We're going to teach you the way to play, give you the ideas, give you smart basketball player, but be tough too about it. They got to be tough, but just helping them grow as a ball player. And we've seen them grow. We can see them grow from freshman to senior year. We've seen them grow.
Yeah, yeah, that's nice. Yeah. So real quick, talk about Phil growing up. Because there's three important questions. I always like to ask the importance of family,
right?
The importance of faith, and the importance of education. So talk about growing up, mom, dad, siblings. Talk about that experience, where you grew up at, and bring us forward.
Well, growing up, I grew up in Ohio. And it's funny. I grew up in Ohio, small town, Canton, Ohio, and my mother and father worked, and my sister, and I got another brother, so it was three of us. But I was in the middle. That's always tough. But that was tough. But the biggest thing about my family was, I had an uncle named Nate who was 16. On my mother's side of the family, they were tall. My mother's brothers were 6'8", 6'10", and 6'6". So I got it naturally from her, and I was like 6'7". But I just, wanted to play basketball. I tried to play every other sport, but in Canton, man, I have a guy by the name of Nick Weatherspoon. Okay, Nick Weatherspoon was a professional player. He played at Camp McKinley, and I watched Nick, when I was young, and all I ever wanted to do most was play for Camp McKinley. At first, that was my biggest goal. My goal was to play for Camp McKinley because that was what I knew. I didn't know.
Right.
And once I got there and realized that I had a chance to play for Camp McKinley, but not only do that, but get a chance even to go to college, and that's something, if somebody don't come around and talk to you about, you can take this to another level. At that day, I didn't know. I just figured, hey, it was going to be Canton. But then now I get to Camp McKinley, I'm playing varsity as a junior, averaging about 10 points and maybe 10 rebounds a game. All right. And things are going, we had a great team. I had a bunch of seniors in front of me. They shot all the balls. I just did the dirty work. They shot, and we ended up going down to the state, but we lost the game. We went down to the state and lost the game. We were 25-0, lost the last game. So now all those guys.
Look. Mm-hmm. I can agree with you. My senior year, we was undefeated and lost in the championship game. I won a couple of championships before that, but that last senior year, that one hurt.
But I was only a junior, so I got a chance to come back.
You got to do it.
So I'm getting to come back. So now all those guys graduate. Think about all they graduate, and then now they leave me there, with a bunch of juniors and a couple other seniors. And now the other thing too about that awakened me as a ball player, that summer I started getting a bunch of letters from colleges. I mean, a bunch, like letters, questionnaires, people, interested in me, wanting to know about my family, wanting to know, my parents' name and stuff, your grade average and all that. And I started filling out questionnaires. I was getting them, by the load. And now all of a sudden I'm like, well, maybe I got a chance to go to college. Maybe I got a chance to play at college basketball. But I still hadn't, decided. I still was playing. So the next year was when things just took off, Moses. It took off, Mo, like unbelievable. I went from 10 points to 25, 26 points a game to 15 rebounds a game. And it just, and we went back to the state and got popped in the first game because I fouled out. So it was difficult. That was difficult. But, in 2 years of high school basketball, I only lost 3 games. And, 2 of them was at the state, but you think about that, how that had helped me advance. But now, my parents too, they were hard workers. They worked in the factory. They were hard, making sure I had everything I needed. I didn't want anything, but again, they didn't go to college neither. They were just workers. So now I got to make sure that I got everything in order. Your grades got to be in order. And I just wasn't a big student at that time. I wasn't a big guy that so I got all A's. I'm a perfect student. Now I was borderline this because I just thought that I just didn't need go how far I was going to go in basketball. But now I needed to pick my grades up and everything, work harder in the classroom, really focused on, advancing myself to the classroom. And I started doing that. And now everything's falling in line. But being from Ohio, okay, I am Ohio State. I was an Ohio State guy. Ohio State football.
I was great say.
I was Ohio State. I was Ohio State everything. But I got recruited by Ohio State, and I got recruited by Michigan and Iowa, mostly Big Ten schools. And I used to get like bags and bags of letters from classrooms in Columbus, Ohio, telling me to come to Ohio State. I had breakfast and lunch with the governor, telling me to go to Ohio State. I mean, just pressure on a young guy. I said, well, I'm going to go to Ohio State. And the funny thing was, when I went down there, I didn't really like to visit as much. And I don't know why. I just had a different feeling. And coach at Michigan named Bill Frieder was recruiting me hard to come to Michigan, and I really wanted to go to Ohio State, but for some reason, I didn't like the situation. So, you signed a letter of intent. You remember that letter of intent?
Yeah, I remember the letter of intent. Yeah.
So I signed a letter of intent. I didn't sign the letter of intent. They drawed up a letter of intent at Michigan, and Frieder came to my house saying, this letter is going to expire and you need to sign this letter. And he stayed, I said, no, I'm not signing until Monday. He stayed at my house all day, that whole day, talking to me, my father, still living, my mother, talking about, this is the right place for you. And we'd have a powwow, me, my mother, and my dad, talking about, what do you think? They said, well, it's going to be up to you. I said, well, I like it, but I don't know if I'm ready to make up my mind. It's like, so we go back in there, sit down with him again. It was like till 10 o'clock that night. I signed to go to Michigan, and that was it. I signed to go. That's how I went to Michigan, and it turned out to be the best decision I could have, But my family was always involved. I mean, it was always involved in everything I did. They tried to, make it to as many games in college as I played. And then I had an Uncle Nate that was a big influence too. He always tried to keep people off of me, whatever, he had people because he was 6'10", he always, tried to keep people off me. But, we went to Michigan and I you never know how it's going to go, but you thought you picked the right place. So you go, I felt like I picked the right place. I took a lot of heat though, for not going to Ohio State.
Oh yeah.
I took a lot of heat, a lot of heat. But when I look back on it, Michigan was the choice, that I made, and the right choice for me that year to go play my first year of college basketball. It was the right choice. But my family had a big to do about that. They were always in there with me, and because I was the first one to go to college, in that group because my mother and them didn't go to college. My mother's brother did, but he had got sick and he didn't finish. But I was really the first one in my family to get the scholarship and go to college, and that's big too, being the first one. It's always a big thing.
Yeah, and then your freshman year, right? You guys go to the NCAA's.
Oh, wow. You was talking about that NCAA. That's an amazing opportunity, because we in the Big Ten at that time they were only letting one team go, at first, but they finally had made a rule that they would take a couple teams from each league. Okay, so as a freshman, I went to Michigan, and this is I got to go back with one. So, Johnny, I say, well, when I get to college, I don't want to play center. I don't want to play no center. He said, no, don't worry about it. You're not gonna play no center. We got guys to play center. He said, don't worry, you're not gonna play center. So I get there. They have Wayman Britt, who's a senior, John Robinson, who's a junior. They're the forwards. Okay. So really, now you look, only one spot's open. It's the center spot. Because, they're going to play Wayman. He's a senior. John Robb, they're going to play him because, he's been a solid starter for the last 2 years. I'm like, well, that means I'm going to be the center. But I never looked. I just said, I just got to play. I'm going to just play. I'm just going to play center, 6'7", 190, about 195. 6'7", 195. Playing college center, but it worked out. I mean, we played well. We had a great season. Ricky Green came in.
Ricky Green came
in. Another Alan Hardy and myself, Bobby Jones. I guess we was a fab something, but we didn't have all the publicity, because we brought 5 guys in at that time, and Ricky was a junior college guy, so he was a couple years ahead of us. And I've always said this, and you talk about the NCAA. So we had a solid season. Indiana, we played them 3 times, okay? 2 times in the regular season. And they beat us the first time pretty bad at home. And then we played them in Indiana, and we had the game, We had the game. And they tipped the ball in and went to overtime, and we lost to them 2 times. So now we get picked to go to the NCAA. All right, we get picked to the NCAA. And we got to play Wichita State. I never forget this. Wichita State. Cheese Johnson.
Oh, yeah, that's my man, Lindbergh. Cheese Johnson.
Yeah, Cheese Johnson.
Played against Lindbergh in high school.
Yeah, and Cheese was good, man.
Yeah, Cheese can play, man.
He can play. So we go to play Wichita State. And this is a feeling I've never forgotten my whole life. They are wailing on us. They're up about 12 with about 8 minutes to go, and we just can't get anything done. And so we knock the lead back down, get back, keep knocking it down, get right in the game, and we're down a point with about 7 seconds left, or 8 seconds left, maybe even more. Ricky swings, gets the ball, and gets to the basket, lays it up. We win by 1. And that's when I always believe now that you win an NCAA tournament just because you're talented, yes, but there has to be some luck. When I woke up that morning, I felt like we had got beat. I mean, they beat us at every aspect of the game, rebounding, scoring, fast break, but we won the game by 1. We won the game by 1, and that propelled us, to the next round, and we was able to get there, played Notre Dame, played Missouri, and end up being the first time 2 teams from the same conference made it to the Final Four. Okay, that was us and Indiana. Okay, then we play Rutgers, who's undefeated, with my buddy Eddie Jordan. And they play UCLA. They play UCLA, and we beat Rutgers, and then we were playing Indiana. That's the first time 2 teams from the same conference had played for the national championship. And Indiana beat us, unfortunately, for the 3rd time for the national championship.
And they were undefeated.
They were undefeated.
And
we were up 14.
You was up 14? And the crazy thing was, I was in high school, right? So you was a freshman, so I'm a senior in high school. Yeah. So we're down at the the NIT at the Garden, the Christmas Invitational. Everybody's there. I mean, Oregon with Ron Lee. And then
great name. Great name.
Right. And all of them got Fordham Universities there, you know, with Fred Brown. I mean, it was just players, man. I mean, just awesome players down at the Garden. I'm a little, high school kid, and when I seen Ron Lee looked like a grown.
Tell you a story about Ron Lee.
Ron Lee looked like a grown man. I was like, how old is he? He's like, he had the afro, the beard, and then they end up playing in the championship against Indiana,
right?
And Indiana came out. I was like, where they get these dudes from? And these dudes were huge. I mean, Quinn Buckner, Bobby Wilkinson. I mean, oh man, they were just. I was like, they just like grown men. I couldn't see them losing, man. I'd say they cheating.
They cheating. But Ron Lee, me and Ron Lee played together at the Pistons in the pros.
Oh yeah,
and man. He was one thing he would do. He dove for the ball, Mo. Oh, he was always diving for the ball. I mean, Ron Lee hit that floor, man. They had a night. Count how many times Ron Lee hit the floor. I mean, he was diving, but he was just like you say. He was muscular. He should have been a running back. He
played football. Period.
He played football. But he didn't shoot. He didn't shoot well, but he played hard. He brought a lot to the table. He was a good dude.
Yeah, he did. I liked him, man. He's left-handed too, so I liked him.
He was left-handed. You hit it on the head, man. Ron Lee.
Lee. I was like, that's a grown man out there.
That's a grown man right there.
And and they. I mean, who else is? I don't know any other teams that's gone undefeated.
No, they not since then. They were the last one. I think UNLV had the shot with Larry Johnson and Duke popped them, and knocked them out of their, beat them in I think the first round of the Final Four. But it hasn't been. That's been a hell of an accomplishment. But we had our shot. We just couldn't close the deal. We were right there. We had our shot.
Well, the thing is, people don't. You kind of quiet player, did your job. So a lot of people don't know. Phil Hubbard, he did what?
I did that.
He did all that stuff. High school, college, and then you get drafted.
No, hold on. I'm gonna give you what else happened. We forgot. After my freshman year, they had the tryouts for the Olympics.
Yes.
Okay. And I assume me and Ricky got invited down to Raleigh, North Carolina. Had about 60 players there, and I'm assuming. I said, well, I put this on my resume as I went and tried out for the Olympics. And Ricky, he probably should make it, but I'm going to try out. We go down there and try out, and man, it was a heck of a week, man. Dean Smith was there, he was coaching. John Thompson, they were coaching, so we were having the tryouts. Bo Ellis, them all the players was there. I was seeing them. Marcus Johnson was there, but I was like, well, I know I'm not gonna probably make this, but I was hooping, and then they had all the players from North Carolina, Mitch Kupchak, Tommy Lagarde. They had all those players. They had Bill Ford, Walter Davis, and they had Quinn Buckner, Adrian Dantley, and
some players.
They had players, Tate Armstrong and Steve Shepard. But so I just figured I'm going home. So when the tryouts over, I'm at the airport, and I see Johnny Davis. And Johnny Davis said, "You get the list?" I said, "What? I ain't getting no list." He said, "I got the list." He said, "You on the list?" I said, "What you mean I'm on the list?" He said, "You on the list of the 15 to come back." To come back and finish trying out. I said, "Nah." He said, "I'm telling you on the list." So I fly back to Ohio. As soon as I get to Ohio, they call me saying, "You got to come back in a week. Come back to Chapel Hill. You start practicing with the 15 players." And I was one of the 15 players that got picked. And now they still had to cut three more players. They brought 15 back, and then they cut. And I made the 12. It's kind of amazing because I didn't think I was gonna make it as a freshman. I figured I had another year, but I made the team as a freshman. And it was a heck of an experience, man. It was a heck of an experience to be able to play with those type of guys every day, practice. And then that's when I realized too that North Carolina's a basketball school, and Michigan's a football school. But it just realized the difference of different areas of basketball. But that was a great accomplishment for me in my career to be able to play in the Olympics at that young. I was young. I was 19. I was 19 at the time.
Yeah, I tried out for the Pan Am trials and the Olympics.
Yeah.
You know, yeah, man, just to be invited.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Just to be invited.
Yeah, just to be invited. The top 50 players, in the country, just to be invited, man. I played well, right? I played well, but you, man, that's a special thing to make the Olympic team win a gold medal. Remember your gold medal at, man?
I got locked up, man. I still got it. I still got it now. That's been a valuable thing. A valuable thing to be able to have that, and to be able to part of that because. It's just when it comes around, I know the feeling, But at that time too, you think about it now, we were all college guys.
Yes.
We were all college guys, and now they moved into the pros, and we were playing against men, from the other teams, and they were a little stronger than us, but the effort was there, and we was able to get it. The only game we had a really tough time was Butch Lee, who played for Puerto Rico. And he put it on us, man. He was boy,
I saw that game.
Done. He handled that ball. He was scoring, but that was in pool play. But we still ended up winning. But it just was, you go back and look at your career. You don't think about that, being one of the things that you gonna get accomplished as a ball player, Olympic gold medal.
Yeah, you're not even thinking about it, right?
No,
I think Ray Williams tried out for the. Yeah. Ray was massive, man.
Yeah, Ray was massive guard. His size, his athleticism.
Him and Ricky Green going at each other.
We used to play them at Minnesota, man. Him, and Michael Thompson, and we played them then, and that was a tough match. Tough match.
Oh man, some good times. And then so from there, you end up after Michigan, you end up getting drafted by the Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
I mean, talk about that experience, man, being drafted.
Well, it'd be funny because, back then they didn't have that big party they have now, that celebration and all that stuff they had. They didn't have that big party and coming. So the funny thing was I think I got hurt a year before. So I had another year of eligibility left. And I was thinking about going back to school, but, I said, if I get drafted in the first round, because I think before I got hurt, Mo, I would have been in the top. I'd have been a top 5. No way I wouldn't have been a top 3 player. There's no way it wouldn't have happened. But I said if I get drafted in the first round, 'cause a lot of teams kept saying they were going to draft me in the second round because they didn't think I was going to come. They thought I was going to go back to school. But the coach of the Pistons was Dick Vitale. Dick Vitale was the coach of the Pistons, and he played for the University of Detroit. And we played Detroit in my sophomore year in the NCAA tournament, and he always just brag like, Michigan, they don't want to play us, they don't want to play us, and they scared to play us. And so that year I went to the coach. I said, well, why don't we play Detroit? He said, we will not be playing Detroit. He said, we have nothing to gain by playing Detroit. That's what Frieda was telling me. I said, well, they keep talking that stuff. He said, no, we have nothing to gain. We won't play them in the regular season, but we end up playing them in the NCAA tournament. And heck, I had 26 rebounds that game, So Dick was the coach. He called me saying, look, we got 3 first-round picks, and we're going to draft you with the 15th. He said, we're going to take Greg Kelser, and we're going to take Roy Hamilton, and we're going to take you at number 15. I said, oh, okay. I said, well, you take me at number 15, then I'm coming. I'm leaving. So I knew where I was going to get drafted at. And they called me on the phone saying the Pistons drafted you at number 15. It wasn't that big hoopla like it was now.
Yeah.
I got the call and told my mother that, I was going to go ahead and go to the pros. I wasn't going back to college no more. I said that was it for me. And the funny thing was, you get to the pros, it's a lot of competition. You know how that is, Mo.
Oh, yeah.
There's a lot of competition, man. And, that was the first time in my basketball career, after going through training camp and all that, to get the first game that I didn't start. I had started from my freshman year in high school, junior high, freshman, sophomore. I started, varsity. Started at Michigan as a freshman, started all the way through. I get to the pros, and the first game, I'm on the bench, man. It's kind of an adjust. It's a heck of an adjustment. I mean, it really is a heck of an adjustment. I'm mad. I'm saying I should have stayed in college. I'm just going. All these thoughts are going through my head, And so not only am I mad, but I'm sitting there, and the clock is ticking down. Like first quarter, second quarter. I still ain't got a call. Third quarter, still ain't got a call. Fourth quarter, I still ain't. Oh man, you could have fried an egg on my head. I was so hot. I was hot. I was really hot. So with about 2 minutes to go, he called my name. I jump up and I run in. Try to get in because I'm just. But man, it was a heck of an adjustment. I mean, adjustment that was just I wasn't ready for. Mentally I wasn't ready for. So I was, I'm mad. I'd go back home and think about, was this the right decision? Because I could be playing now, but and this went on for the first couple months. I didn't play, and then we had a call in the middle of the day saying, "Don't come to practice because they're gonna fire Dick, and we'll tell y'all to come to practice later on that evening." So they told us they don't fire Dick, and then y'all we'll call you and let you know what time practice is gonna be. And they fired Dick, and they gave me Richie out of bottom. Richie out of bottom.
I know Richie out of bottom.
Yeah, Richie out of bottom and Herman Cole. So they made them two the coach. So I'm thinking now I'm gonna get some run, but Richie and Herman thinking about trying to save the job, so they're playing the veterans at first.
Yeah,
they're playing the veterans because they're thinking if they can get this thing turned around, they could keep it going. So and it's funny if you think about personality and how you act as a person and how you act towards people all the time. So as a basketball player, the only thing that I think makes us happy is what, Mo, that we play. We play in the game, we get in the game. That's the bottom line, So I was still unhappy because Richie wasn't playing me. So I would get on the bus, and you know what the coaches said on the bus, right? And I just walk right by them, man. I would speak to them. I would say good morning. I would say nothing, both. I walk right back to the back of the bus, man. And I just walk on there, man, and then walk off. I was mad. So I just, so about maybe a month later, they called me in, and they said, we don't want to have a talk. They said they don't want to talk to me. So they said, Hub, we like you as a person, like you as a ball player, but we want to tell you something. We're not going down by ourselves. He said, listen to what I'm telling you. We're not going down by ourselves. I said, okay. He said, so we're going to start giving you some, playing. You're going to start. So now they started playing me, Mo. They started playing me. I was playing the last four games of 40, about 30 games left. I'm playing there, getting the minutes, happy. So my whole attitude didn't change.
Right.
I mean, my personality didn't change as a person. Now I'm getting on the bus. I got to speak. I got to say, hey, how y'all doing? Because now I'm in a better mood. But but they taught me something about be the person you're gonna be all the time. Don't try to be that moody guy that that upset about what you're going not getting at that time. And so I played and I was happy. So it just adjusted, and then they were right. They didn't get retained at the end of the year, and they took a couple players that told it badmouthed them, but it wasn't me. They took they didn't badmouth me, so it ended up working out for me. But you never know but your personality, you never know how it's gonna go, because I love basketball. I'm sure you loved basketball too when you were playing it, but
that's right.
Not to be able to participate in the games wasn't easy for me. That was not easy adjustment, but I did adjust and I did play, but it taught me as I went through my NBA career that be the same all the time. If you're playing, if you're not playing, treat people the way you think you should, speak to them, say how you doing, whatever, keep on, keep it moving. It ain't maybe gotta be a lot of conversation, but you're gonna say how y'all doing this morning. You're gonna move on, but that don't make that I'm not having those feelings about still wanting to play, but I had to be the person that I was going to be all the time, not just when I'm playing or when things are going good and when things are smooth. You try to be the player, the player that you think you are. But yeah, I had to change. I had to change my, and I was young in my career. I had to change the way I adjusted to coaching and stuff like that. And we wasn't a very good team on the Pistons. I could tell you that. We wasn't very good, and that's why I was telling you about Ron Lee. He was our point guard. He played, but we wasn't winning no games, man. We didn't win no. We took it on the chin. I lost more games my whole career. That one season, I lost 65 games.
Yeah,
Shoot,
yeah.
man.
Because I was with the Nets, so we would take it on the chin too.
Yeah,
and especially when you're not used to losing.
Right, you're not used to losing.
My mindset was always, okay, I'm gonna be a gentleman no matter what.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm gonna work.
Right.
I'm gonna put in the work. You may not play me, but I'm gonna put in the work. I'm gonna come to practice. I'm gonna work. Right, and I seen a lot, and we probably have similar character.
Yes.
Good character, good dude. They always talk about good people.
Yeah, good people.
Yeah. Oh, good people finish last, man. And then you got knuckleheads, right?
Yeah.
Who seem like they get all the breaks.
Right.
But you don't stop being a good person.
No, you don't stop being a good person.
Because you think you want to play. You're gonna go out and do something stupid. So, man, I commend you, man, because you got out of there.
Yeah, but I got out of there. But I got out of that funk. But also, I realized too that all of a sudden now the Pistons draft Isaiah Thomas. Things are looking up for the Pistons. I'm still playing. I'm getting minutes. They had changed the coach. Scotty Robinson that came in to be the coach. I was playing. I had my best year under him. But then they draft Isaiah, and I'm going into my third year. I'm playing pretty good. I'm rebounding, I'm starting to figure out this game a little bit about how, the adjustment of the pro game from the college game. And man, don't you know, they call me talking about you've been traded. You've been traded. I'm like, oh man, I didn't want to get traded. I was like, traded to where? Here's a good story. So I had
Siberia. They say you in Siberia.
I had 18 rebounds and about 15 points against Houston. And I didn't go home. I went to a restaurant, had something to eat, and they was looking for me all that time to try to call. They have no cell phone, so they ain't calling me. They've been calling my house phone. I ain't answering it. So they gotta let me know that I've been traded. They've been trying to call me all night. Then I finally get home around 12. They call me and said, Bill, we've been trying to call you to tell you that you've been traded. I said, where? I said, to the Cavs. I was like, oh man. I said, to the Cavs. I said, I didn't say. I said I was just in shock. I was in shock because I really thought things was starting to turn around. So, and the reason why I think I got traded because the coach at that time was Bill Musselman.
Oh.
And Bill Musselman tried to recruit me in college. In college, he was at Minnesota. Tried to recruit me, and I didn't go. And so he traded for me. He traded for me. He got me. Coach traded for me. I'm like, oh my God, you didn't trade for me. So I'm like, man. So I get down there. That goes like one's going up, this one's going down. Down. And,
that was like a circus.
That's my hometown. I mean, I'm right from Canton. That's only 50 minutes from Clinton.
Yeah.
So I'm saying I thought that this would be like I could do the end of my career, then maybe finish my career as a Cav. Like finish my career like do the last couple of years as a Cav or something like that. I didn't think I was gonna be there my going into my third year, finishing my third year. And man, I finished. I played 82 games that year because they traded me in the half. It was all right, but Musselman was the coach, and we had a terrible team, man. We had nothing going on. I mean, I was playing, but here's the big thing: come back the next year, right? They had an option. They had an option for me to pick up my option for my fourth year. All right, and I was like, well, if they don't pick up my option, I could probably go to another. Indiana was showing me like a little interest and stuff. Teams were showing interest, and they had to have it by a certain date. And man, they missed that date. And then 2 days later, here come that letter in the mail talking about we picked up your option. I said, you picked up my option? Yeah, they picked up my option. And then he drafted John Bagley and David Magley. and they were rookies.
I was there in the camp. I was in camp.
Yeah, you was in camp with us, Mo. You sure
Yeah,
was in camp with us.
yeah.
Yeah, you sure
I was balling out. They cut me the last day.
He was balling out. Yeah, because he wanted Bag to play because he had drafted Bags.
Yeah.
And Bag to Magley. So you were there. You were balling out. You did.
Yeah, I was balling out, man. I was there scoring and assists, steals, running the team and stuff like that. Cut me the day before the season started.
Yeah, because he had to cut somebody. So now you know how it was. So now, but I'll go back to training camp. It was like, man, he had us doing all these ball handling drills, stuff. I say, hey, this ain't pro basketball. I said this, that between. I said this ain't pro basketball. I said I've been in the league a little few years now. I think this ain't what we supposed to be doing. This is college basketball.
That's right.
So I was like, I wasn't good in the drills. I say, man, but you put me on that court, I'm gonna get it done. I'm getting it done when I get in the game. I was getting it done, but I see David Magley was good at the ball handling drills. He was good at putting it behind his back. I said, hey man, that ain't gonna get you done, man. That get you nothing. You get out, you better rebound. So he's like, I'm gonna play. I said, nah, man, I'm not about those drills. Because I thought I knew, a little bit because I've been in the league going on 4 years now. I'm saying,
that's
man,
right.
This ain't about the league.
It's about playing and winning. And you had Ted Stepien.
And Ted Stepien, Ted Stepien.
Like the worst.
The worst, man. He was the worst. He was win 20 games and get a suit. That's what the sign said in the locker room.
Oh man.
Win 20. You're like 20, you get a suit. We have a suit. We couldn't even win 12. Win 20.
Oh,
so now, right in the middle of that, they decide to fire Musselman. Okay, they fire and they bring in Tom Selke. They bring in Tom Selke and they bring in Harry Weltman as a GM. They bring in some new pieces at that time, and that's good for me because Tom Selke, he came in, he cut the rotation. He said, look, you're gonna be my first forward off the bench. He told me that. So he had Cliff Robinson. Cliff Robinson.
He was with me with the Nets.
Yeah, Big Cliff. And he had one other guy, I can't think of who it was right now, but they were playing in front of me, Elijah Keenan. And then every time, boom, he came 6 minutes, I'm taking one of them two out. It didn't matter what was going on, Mo. He put me in at 6 minutes, and that kind of boosted my, got me playing. I played Jeff Hughes. They playing. We start, things started picking up, man, because I knew every night I was gonna play.
Right.
No matter what, I was gonna play 24 to 30 minutes a game, and that helped me advance my career a little bit in Cleveland and get things. But we still wasn't winning. We're winning no games.
I was
playing that. I was getting it done. So now I would give you the big New York guy comes. So a couple years later, about a year later, we get World. World get
World
traded.
Be free.
Ron Brewer, World come there. Not World. His name was Lloyd at that time, but World. The World comes and he helped change things because one thing about World, he could put that ball in the hole, man.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
Put that ball in the hole, and he wasn't passing. We had Jeff Houston was the point guard. They both from New York.
New York.
So you can't get a pass because Jeff come down the fast break. It's me, you, Jeff, and World. He going to World side. So you can bet that he wasn't giving me. And I said, man, Jeff, I'm not making. He said, I got you. But things started turning around a little bit, man. George Karl became the coach, and we ended up drafting Roy Henson. There was a lot of good things started happening. Then Roy came over there, and he really was really had a good season. And George Karl, we had the best, had our best season. That's my seventh. I'm gonna go to the 7th year. I've been in there now. I came about 4 years, and I've been in the league 7 years. And you think about this. When you're in the league and your season ends every April, every April, you don't even know what the real basketball is about.
Yeah, because it ain't no playoffs.
Ain't no playoffs.
Yeah.
Ain't no playoffs. You don't really understand. So now we actually get good enough, and I think we played New Jersey for the last spot. In the play, and they were adding an extra team, and we make the playoffs. My 7th year in the league, we ended up playing the Boston Celtics in the first round. But that was that. Then you could see what the basketball was about.
Yeah,
that's the real part of getting to the playoff, being able to
Well, it's
play those
like
type
college.
of games. Yeah,
It's getting to the NCAAs. I mean,
right.
That's what you work for. Get to the NCAA to get to the pinnacle, which is to win the Final Four, to win a championship.
Yeah, but I've been there in 7 years. Didn't have taste nothing. Just season over. Season go home, get ready for the next year. Season over. But that gave me an idea. I said, well, this is really basketball. How the exposure you get, everything else is a little bit more advanced. They're looking at you different. It just was. It changed the whole attitude about that's what we should have been. You just was on a bad team. We couldn't get there until we got put a team together that could help us, help us win. Lonnie Shelton, Roy. We had good players. We had World. We had Bagley that came along. Bagley's my guy. Me and John became real close, and John was really advanced his game. He looked when you look at him, he didn't look like he could get it done, but he got it done.
Yeah, he can get it done. Yeah, John Bagley get it
done. He got it done. John got it done. And
then he went over to Boston and he got
it done.
In
Boston and got it done again.
Yeah, he got it done. Yeah, so
because he could get it done, man. That's my guy, man. And so we said, that's just so you. Then now, the next at my 8th year it comes in that we start getting players. Now we get Ron Harper, we get Brad Doherty, Mark Price, and it really starts.
Was it Craig Elo?
Yeah, Elo came on there. Now the team is starting to be elite.
Yeah,
it's starting to get.
But you run into.
Yeah, we run into we dominate the 1 year, but we run into the Pistons. We run into the Pistons, and I'll give you a good story. We run into the Pistons, and we were leading the league at that time in the division. We were leading the division, and Rick Mahorn checks Mark Price with an elbow. Okay, with an elbow, and this is probably my 9th. This is my 10th. He checks him with an elbow, and gives him a concussion. Gives him a concussion, and the Pistons are trying to repeat, and so we thought we could take them, but we couldn't take them because we had a terrible thing happen along the way. We played the Chicago Bulls, okay, with Michael Jordan. The Chicago Bulls. Mark Price, because of the concussion, won't play the first game. He didn't play the first game because he could have, but he didn't play the game, and we had beat Chicago 6 times that year. We lose the first game of a 5-game series at home. Okay. Mark plays the second game, we win. All right. Play the second game, we win. All right. And then the next game we go to Chicago, they beat us again. Okay. Then the next game is the 4th game. They're up 3-2. They're up 2-1. And we about to go home. We won 59 games. We about to go home, and we beat them in the 4th game. So we figured we going back to Cleveland. We got this game. We got this. We got this. We got this. We going back home. We gonna get them. We could not get rid of them suckers, man. That game went back and forth, and all you see every time you see the shot, Michael doing like that, the last shot. That was the game. He hit that shot on us and won that game. And I say this, Lowe's, too. If you look up all his game-winning shots, majority of the shots he took, 99%, was at the middle of the key in the free throw area. He took them pretty much there. Now, ever since he made that, and that was my last basketball game. That was my last game. I was a 10-year career. That was my last game, and it wasn't a good feeling. We had won 50, 57, 58 games. Wow. And went home in the first round, but it just goes to show you, man, you never know.
No, you don't.
You never know.
And what was your thinking like? Before, did you know in year 10, or even before year 10, were you thinking about what was next?
Yeah, I was thinking about what was next. That's a good question. I was thinking that I was gonna go into business, type of thing. I probably could have played another couple of years. I should have pushed it, went over, had a couple of deals to go see. But I was thinking, well, I'm gonna get out this thing and I'm gonna go into business. I want to own a car dealership. So I did some work at that and see if that was what I wanted to do. And I thought that I wanted to, and I remember Lenny used to act. Lenny Wilkins was one of my coaches at that time. used to ask me, "What are you gonna do?" Everybody asks you, when you get, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
They ask you, I guess I could have said that time I wanted to coach it, and he might have been able to try to, help me out because we had a good relationship, but I
Mhm.
didn't want to coach at that time. I wanted to see if I could do business, and went out, worked at the car dealership, trying to get my intern so I could get my own car dealership. And man, I said, these some long hours, man. these are long hours, and I would play basketball in lunchtime. I still had some good life in my legs. I still was playing, on weekends and lunchtime. So I was like, yeah, man. So I thought I wanted that back. I wanted that dealership, but the more I looked at it, I was like, I don't know if I want to do this. And I think the one of the mistakes I made was George Carl called me and said, "Come play in the G League, in the not the G League. It was called the minor
CBA,
league,
CBA.
CBA, the
Mhm.
CBA." And he was up in New York.
Yeah, I
He
played
asked
with
me.
him. I was up there. I just left there, and I ended up playing with him that year for a
Yeah,
minute. Yeah.
he needed a player because he was losing players to injury, and I said, nah, man, because I kept telling myself I should have went on up there and played with him and demanded that he hire me as a coach. After I
Yeah.
got done, say, never
Right,
understand
right,
you can hire
right.
me as a coach, but I'll come play for you, but you got to hire me as a coach. But I wasn't advanced on my thinking of how far I wanted to take it then, but so I kind of was bouncing him around, saying, man, I got to do something with basketball. I got to do something with basketball. So I called Ernie Grunfeld. Ernie was on the Olympic team with me,
Mm.
and Ernie was the GM of the Knicks. And I called Ernie and I said, Ernie, I want to see if you can get me a spot doing some college scouting, And he says, hold on. He said, I'm gonna get back to you in a couple of days. He said, I'm gonna check it out and see. So he called me about a week later saying, yeah, I can bring you on, but I got to bring you on as an independent, not, just, pay for my expenses, pay me so much a game. What they paying me 200 a game or something, and, pay my mileage and all that. And I said, okay, I did. I started scouting for the Knicks, and mostly college, riding around in Ohio, watching college games, Ohio State, Toledo, Cleveland State, Youngstown, doing Pittsburgh, going over there, driving myself. And then after I did that for 2 years, he offered me a contract to be, a scout, to be a salary guy. And I took it, but I was chilling. I had been so now, Mose, I've been there two years of that, another 2 years, almost 3 years. And the key was I was talking to a friend of mine, the late Wayne Cooper,
Mm.
And he said
Yeah.
to me, he said, are you in the pension? I said, what pension? He said, are you in the pension? I said, no, I'm not in the pension. So I called Ernie and said, Ernie, I want to get in the pension. And he says, we don't have a spot for you in the pension, but we can raise your salary. And I called Lenny and started asking him about, can I be on his staff? And I had already scouted for 5 years, and Lenny he passed me up the first time. The next year, he hired me on the staff. That's my first coaching job. Was in Atlanta with one of the greatest coaches in the NBA, Lenny Wilkins. And that's how my coaching career got started. Believe it or not, I never would have thought I'd be a coach, but Lenny hired me, and I owe a lot to him. And he was one of the guys. Ernie for giving me the scouting, and Lenny for giving me the coaching job, and that's how my coaching career started. Went on from coaching with Lenny for 3 years in Atlanta, and then I Lenny got let go, and I went to Golden State and coached with Eric Musselman, Bill Musselman's son, who I
Mm-hmm.
knew since high school.
Yeah.
And I coached a couple years. At first, I take that back because when I went there the first year, Dave Collins was the coach, who I
Right.
respect a lot too. Dave was the coach, and Dave was a good dude, and he let me do good stuff, try to advance my coaching skills, and I got to take that because Dave hired me at Golden State. But then 2 years in, Dave got let go, and Eric came. And in my third year, I finished my third year, and then Eric wanted me to stay, but he wasn't offering the type of contract. He's offering like I think a 2 2-year or something like that. And my boy Eddie Jordan gets the job in Washington.
Yeah.
And he offers me 3 years in Washington. I said, E, man, I love you, but I'll see you later. So I went to D.C. and did 6 years in D.C. 6 years in D.C. as a coach with Eddie, and we had great years. We had a lot of success. We had some ups and downs. That was after Michael had left. And we went to the playoff, I think 4 out of those 6 years. And it was pretty good, And then 2009, 2010, I decided to go. Musselman called me again because I was done with the NBA. He called me to come coach with him in Reno. So I said, all right, I'm coming. That's the G League.
Right.
But pretty much, it wasn't a lot of pay. And my boy Coop calls me and said, you want to go to China? I was like, I do want to go to China. I just want to see what it's like. I want to see what it's like to go to China and coach. And Mo, I'm gonna give you this. I said, okay. So I said, Mus, I'm out. So I leave and I go to China for 6-8 months. And that was a different experience there. That was a different experience because now you don't realize the adjustments you have to do. You think about me as a coach, but think about the players when you come over there. There's a language barrier. They don't speak English. You guys still try. You gotta get an interpreter. The food situation, the living, everything's an adjustment, man. Going there trying to coach these guys, and none of them spoke English.
Wow.
None of them spoke it. Just me and the interpreter, and that was a heck of an experience for me. Learning about culture, how they live, how they, things they do. The basketball is close to the same, but it's just another country. Another country.
Wow, man.
Yeah.
Well, Phil, man, this is good, man. I'm sure the folks out there, man, got a lot of information, man, and got to know who Phil Hubbard was, and yeah, I mean, the thing is, I think that, when you're doing something you love to do, right, no matter what it is, you want to do it as long as you can. Right. And then I think one of the most important things I learned, it's a business.
Yes.
The thing in, growing up in the recreation or the boys and girls club playing basketball and then going on to high school and enjoying yourself. And, then even college was fun. But then when you get to the pros and somebody's paying you business, and I think when you're young, you don't see it. You see guys play in the league, but you don't understand the business side of it. And so sometimes that can take away from the love.
Yes.
Of the game, and so, and then, a lot of us know how to get in the plane and fly that plane, and we can fly for a while. But I don't think we have a plan to land it. I mean, I think we just gonna crash.
We just gonna crash.
Yeah, we just gonna crash because we don't know what we're gonna do.
No, we don't know. What we're gonna do.
And we've been in the locker room so long.
Yeah.
And listening to the claps and the cheers for so long, man. We think it's gonna last forever.
It's almost like an addiction. Really. In a way, it is. I mean, then you all cut off. You're cut off.
Right.
Cut off. Yeah, and that's tough. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you taking the time out, man, coming on with us. Yeah, there's your picture, man. Your guys are playing in the Hall of Fame down there.
That's my boy Gilbert. Yeah, some good pictures, man. So I got some good times. CJ is from my hometown. I went to high school with his dad, CJ McCullum. And there's my Michigan guy, Jawan, man. I gotta support my man Jawan.
Yeah, you gotta be praying for him.
Yeah.
No, it's hard, but it's fair. You know what I'm saying?
It's hard, but it's fair.
Yeah, I mean, you look at the legend. Huggins just went into my former teammate. He just went into last year. He went into the Basketball Hall of Fame.
Right.
And then now he's not even coaching.
Right.
So that's how fast things can turn.
They change. And I know Bobby from Ohio too. I've been knowing him for a long time.
Yeah. So, but I want to thank you, man, for
right,
coming on. I enjoyed it, man.
It's been great,
I'm glad
man.
that people got a chance to know Phil Hubbard, and to know the things that you have accomplished. You know, and there's so many guys like ourselves who are out there, and they just don't know all the things that we've accomplished. And also the other part of it is, you know, when you hear your story.
Yes.
You know, like you said in the beginning, when I was showing the little highlight thing, you was telling players like, hey, you got to get your grades. I mean, you know, because we're seeing basketball like at a high rate now from, man, they starting at 5 and 6 years old.
All day.
Yeah, and if they don't know to, hey, man, go to school, man. You got to get, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to learn to read. You got to learn to write.
You got to learn to write.
And only to, you know, for you and I to get a scholarship, a full scholarship at a Division I school, I mean, it was really a blessing.
Yes.
You know, so only a few of us get to do those things. You know, and these kids, like when I'm speaking to them during the summertime, they just don't know. They playing, but they're not listening. And we, you know, when you roll up on them and say, "Hey, man, what do you want to do?" Right. And they
NBA.
say, "Oh, yeah, I want to go to NBA, man. I want to go to Duke." I'm like, I'm looking at their game. I'm like, I don't know about that, but
you're going somewhere, but it may not be Duke.
Yeah, it just may not be Duke. But thank you, man. I don't know if there are any last questions out there. Any last questions out there before we get off here? Nah, it was a lot of comments up there. A bunch of comments. Yeah. That's Mike Hammond. He went to school and he went to school in Ohio.
Oh yeah, man. He knows about that Cam McKinley. That pride, that Cam McKinley pride.
That's right. So,
my brother, man, I appreciate you, man. I'm glad to get a chance to rap to you, man. You know, you was a good brother and you worked hard. I respect you. Respect your game, respect what you're doing now, man. Keep up the good work.
Oh, thank you, man. So I'm gonna close out here. So thank you guys for, man, your support of the Blueprint Podcast each and every week. Man, I love you guys. Man, I look forward to seeing you next week. And I say every week, right? I say the same thing every week. If God allows you to wake up tomorrow, make tomorrow your masterpiece. God bless you and good night.
We really hope you enjoyed this episode of Lowe's More, the Blueprint Podcast. Stay connected and follow us at our website, www.lowesmore.com. That's LOWESMOORE.com. You can also join the discussion on Twitter at Lowe's More and on Facebook at Lowe's More Jr. As always, thank you for pushing your mindset towards a better reality. This concludes the most thought-provoking portion of your day. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this podcast to stay fully up to date with everything we're up to. Until next time, be kind to yourself and each other.
What they teaching is a joke. I ain't buying it like I'm broke. Insufficient funds for insignificant.